Hi, my name's Logan Shantz. There's nothing I love more than getting out into God's beautiful creation with great people. I've been backpacking for about 2 years now, and I've been through a lot of different gear. One of my favorite pieces of gear is my Lanshan 2 tent. In this video, I'll be telling you the pros and cons of that tent and why I think you should get one. Got my trekking poles, so I'm going to go ahead and set this bad boy up. I think one of the main things about this tent that really set it apart is just its design. It obviously has a very similar design to the Z-Pac's duplex. It's basically the same exact design, besides having the inner tent on this and the Z-Pac's not having that. But I think that even though the quality might not be the exact same as the duplex, the design is what sets the duplex apart. So you can really get into that same ultralight bracket for probably less than a quarter of the money, which I think is awesome. So that's probably my first big reason why I would choose the Lanshan. And again, on that same design thought, if we take a look inside the tent here, you are going to see the room that it has inside here. So for me, I'm usually sleeping alone in this tent. It is plenty enough room. I'm 6 foot, and laying down, my feet don't touch the end. It's close, but it really has never been an issue. I've never got any substantial condensation that's ever got me wet. So that's really awesome. And I've slept in some pretty muggy areas where it was wet all up and down on here, but it never really got into this inner tent, which is awesome. So there's plenty of room. It's about 48 inches of headroom. And I can show you what it looks like. This is me sitting in here. I have plenty of room. My head's not even close to the top or anything like that. I can lay out after a hike, stretch in here if it's raining, hang out. I've had a couple buddies in here who've just hung out and talked, and it's not bad. So yeah, it's the inside. So my next point on the pros of the Lanshan is its weatherproofing. So I was pretty skeptical about this at first. You know, being a cheaper tent, you don't have that brand name to kind of rely on for proof of, like, reliability and stuff. So I bought this thing, and like I said earlier, I took it out. I think the first trip I went on, it was raining, and it rained really hard. Slept in it, and I was pleasantly surprised. I was not wet anywhere. The only spot that had a little bit of moisture is this guy line pull out right there. So what I did is I just went to, I think it was Menards, and I got some just camp sealer, some seam sealer, and just put a couple coats on there. And ever since then, it's been doing really well. Wow. Yeah, and that brings me to my next thing, wind resistance. So obviously right now it is pretty darn windy. It's got to be like 25-mile-an-hour gusts, and it's really holding up well. So that's definitely something to think about when you're buying a tent, because a lot of times you get up in the high mountain areas and you're going to get a lot of wind. And this, having its broad sides, I was kind of concerned about that at first when I was looking it up online and stuff. But again, having these pullouts here really help with the wind, and I've never had it fail on me in the wind, minus a few times where I've just had a bad, like, stake spot. Like I stick it into some soft sand and it'll pull out, but it usually does that within the first 5 minutes if you have a bad stake spot. But I've never had it collapse on me in the night or anything like that. I've been in some pretty good storms with it. Yeah, so overall its weatherproofing is very well done, very, very reliable. So that's something you want in a tent. So now that I've gone through all the things that I think are really good about this tent, I'll tell you the one area that it definitely lacks in, and that is ease of setup. I've set this tent up a bunch of times, so I'm getting a little faster with it, but overall it's slow to set up. It's not easy because you got to do 4 stakes on each corners. These guy line stakes, you got to kind of nail them. And I don't think like once yet have I got the 4 stakes in the 2 guy lines and then not had to readjust it. Like almost every time you're gonna mess the placement of one of these 2 stakes. Like you're just not gonna get it right every single time. You're probably gonna get it in the wrong spot, which isn't the end of the world. You just get it up and you readjust. You know, if you see like that little amount of wrinkle there, I'm just gonna pull this one out a little bit, you know, and get it a little tighter. But it's definitely not ideal for those nights when you just want to like get in the tent. It's raining, it's dark, you're getting into camp late. But if you just leave yourself a little extra time and you practice with it and get better with it before you go on some crazy big trip, you'll be totally fine. Overall, for the money, I don't think you can really beat the Lanshan 2 tent. I know of a few freestanding tents that compare in weight, and those are like the REI Quarter Dome and Big Agnes. I can't think of the name of it right now, but there's a couple of my Big Agnes that are very, very similar in weight. But all of those are costing upwards of like $350 to $400, and obviously the Z-Packs Duplex up there at like $600. And I just don't think that for the money you can get much better of a tent. The design, the weatherproofing, and just the simplicity of it. I think that it is a great tent, even though it might take a little longer to set up. I think that for the weight to wallet ratio that this thing gives you, I don't think you can beat it. So go online, find yourself somewhere you want to buy one. I could put the link in the description for where I bought this one, but they're really all the same on AliExpress and stuff. I think they're probably made from some of the same manufacturers. But yeah, get online, find yourself one, and buy it and get out there and just start backpacking, put some miles down, and have a ball with it. Get on the trail and have a good time.